Hi, it's Joe and Taylor with the Joe Taylor Group, and we are here today to tackle probably the biggest, most asked question that we hear right now in the real estate market, which is, should I buy or should I wait? We're going to do this in a 4-part series, and today we're going to talk about probably the most important question that comes up regarding inventory. So, Joe, when it comes to the question, should I buy now or should I wait? The first thing that comes to mind, the first thing that we need to look at is inventory. Inventory is probably one of the biggest factors determining what prices are going to do. And right now in Las Vegas, what's happening with the inventory?
So we've been at this for a long time. The Joe Taylor Group's existed since '05. I think you got your license in '03 or whatever. I was '02. So it's historically low right now. I don't know what your report says, but I just know for us, our guys, we're really excited when we take a listing because we know it's going to sell fast. When we get a buyer, depending on their price range, obviously we love helping buyers, but it's a little bit more challenging in certain price range. And so you've got the numbers in front of you, but from what I know, we're at historically low number of listings, which has created a seller's market, obviously, but in some ways I think it's a buyer's market too, just because of some of the factors we're going to talk about though.
Yeah, so the numbers right now in Las Vegas, we have a 2.7 month supply of inventory. What that means is if no more houses, no more condos were added to the market today, the current inventory would last 2.7 months. So with the people that are coming to Vegas, the people that are buying, first-time home buyers, move-up home buyers, out-of-state home buyers, if no more inventory was added, we would have 2.7 months of supply. 2.7 months of supply is really low. That's what's made it into a seller's market. A balanced market would have 6 months supply, which creates equal opportunities for buyers and sellers. Right now, sellers definitely have all the leverage. So one of the things that comes up, a lot of buyers are asking us, there's very low inventory, prices are going up because the demand is so high. Should I wait? Is inventory going to go up? Are there reasons that I should wait other than inventory? Is there anything else going on? What are you telling buyers right now?
Well, I know that our grandparents were part of they were Depression babies. They lived through the Great Depression. And so they saw things financially different than it seemed like my dad did, and certainly than our generation does. I think we are all recession babies from like '05, '06, '07. Like people are just waiting for the next real estate market crash. The challenge is we know of the last 7 recessions, real estate actually increased in value during 6 of them. The one exception was the one we went through in '06, '07, '08, that we just started climbing out of in 12 or whatever, which was caused by housing. So housing caused that recession, therefore housing was greatly affected by that recession. And so we've talked about this at length. The pandemic hit, you and I kind of sat back and said like, oh crap, we're in for the next recession. And we sat back for 4 or 5 days, told our people to work from home so we didn't all kill each other with COVID. And after a while, it was like, all right, well, let's get back to work because we're not going to go through what we went through last time as far as personally. We're just going to work as hard as we possibly can. And the market has exploded. I think there's a bunch of reasons for that. I think low inventory is one of them. I think people abandoning states with poor taxation policies and, the fact of the matter is if you live on the beach in California or you live in Baker, California, like you pay state income tax, and a lot of people are kind of bailing those situations, New York, whatever. And then historically low interest rates have allowed people to, and the fourth thing I think is people have realized how important their home is because they've been locked in it for a year. And so people are like, am I really cool with this house? We thought we wanted an extra bedroom. Now we know we need an extra bedroom. So all those factors kind of come in and have generated this market that there's people like me who my house has gone up since I purchased it 50% in the last 8-9 years. But where would I go? And so there's people sitting on the sidelines. I don't know when, in order for the market to flip from a specifically seller's market to a specifically buyer's market, we would have to triple our inventory, quadruple our inventory to get from where we have 2.5 months to get to a really hot buyer's market. It would have to be 9 months of inventory. Like, I don't know what catastrophic event, being that it's 2020 anymore, I don't know that one's coming. But some sort of catastrophic event would have to happen to affect inventory like that. Like, being right now, there's enough homes on the market that if no one else listed their home in 2.7 months, we would have 0 homes on the market. That market, the inventory stayed steady for a while. So in order to sit on the sidelines and wait for the crash, I don't know what would have to happen for 4 times as many people to put their home on the market.
Yeah, all great points. And I was thinking about that this morning. If inventory right now, with the low inventory we have, what if it was 1 month? What if it was 6 months? What if it was a week of inventory? Would that still be a good enough reason to wait? Is low inventory a good enough reason to wait? And what are the other factors to consider when looking at, okay, inventory is low. We know when inventory is low that the demand is up. We've got some, I think, very unique things happening right now that are purely pandemic related. We've got coastal cities like LA and San Francisco, San Diego, New York. We've got people coming to Vegas that traditionally needed a brick and mortar place to work. They can now work from Las Vegas, which has very low cost of living. We have no state income tax. We have low property tax, and we have wonderful amenities as far as restaurants. We're close to the outdoors, close to Zion's National Park. There's so many things close to Vegas that all the people traditionally that had to stay in brick and mortar locations and pay a ton of money for living are now coming to Las Vegas with really strong financial cash or strong conventional loans that they can purchase the properties here in Vegas. So that being said, the inventory levels don't seem to be increasing a ton. We've got, I was looking at another report this morning, the millennials. Right now, millennials are the largest group of first-time home buyers, and they're ready to go. They're ready to buy. So the inventory levels are up. Interest rates we're going to talk about in our next episode, but that's a huge factor that plays into this inventory question. But looking at inventory, talking with a number of our builder friends, associates that we work with, the price to build, lumber prices are up. Land is really it's tough to get land right now, so the builders are doing their best to keep up. I think right before the Great Recession, 2006, 2005, builders were pumping out 3,000 to 4,000 houses a month that they were able to provide to the market. And it's come up quite a bit, but even right now it's around 2,000 properties. So even the builders, with that massive ramp up in production, they're still not quite back to the levels that they need to be at to get the inventory up. So all that being said, buy or wait for inventory, I think you're going to lose if you wait.
I think you'd have to look at why wait. I guess I can see if I was waiting for a raise, like word is my boss is going to be moving up and moving out to New York, and if I wait 3 or 4 months, my salary is going to double. Well, then obviously that greatly affects the ability I have to purchase. So would I want to purchase right now when in 3 to 4 months I am going to make a lot more money, therefore I could buy a lot more home? I probably would wait. If I have, my 2 children are moving out this summer and this is the home of their youth and they love it, but my wife and I, don't need this much house. Would I wait to sell and then buy something smaller? There's some outlying factors in which it makes sense to wait because you can buy more home with a raise or your life circumstances significantly changing. I could see that. The challenge I have with somebody who chooses to wait is the laws of supply and demand don't seem to be shifting in favor of the buyer anytime soon. And so the home that you purchased today for 7 is probably going to be worth 775 in December. And so like, if you're just waiting because you think it's going to crash, that's a really hard bet to make, because all factors point to continued growth in the housing economy, and all factors point to continued low inventory. Like I said before, I don't know what would cause massive amount of inventory. You and I, from our industry experience, get a lot of like, all the foreclosures are coming. I don't see that that's going to happen. I think people are trying to, everybody tries to bet on the next crash, but a lot of what they're using is there's a lot of renters sitting in homes that aren't paying rent and this and that. Okay, cool. Well, then the homeowner, once they do evict that client, will just sell it and make money. In order to foreclose on a property, you need to have no equity in that home. I don't know who would not have equity in their home right now. And so I don't see a massive amount of foreclosures coming online. Well, I know that.
And that's a great point you bring up with the foreclosures. I think because you mentioned recession, baby, I think most of us today are thinking that the housing crash is coming. There's this massive inventory of foreclosures. But one of the factors that's 180 degrees different from 2007 is the houses right now that are in default, that are in foreclosure, they're on a deferment plan. So they've done a negotiated agreement with their bank. They put 3 to 6 months of payments on the back end of the loan, but they have absolutely no plan to foreclose. Number one, because they have equity. Most of the houses today, homeowners have somewhere $50,000 to $100,000 in equity, and there's just no way that they're going to turn away from, that they're going to walk away from that. So this shadow inventory, this foreclosure inventory that people talk about, it just doesn't exist. Homeowners are not going to walk away from the equity they have, and the foreclosures that are showing up, a lot of those are just deferment strategic plans that homeowners have set up with their banks with absolutely no intent of letting that foreclose. So I think another kind of nuts and bolts thing that I look at as far as should I buy now or should I wait is just the cost of what can you do? What is your buying power right now? $350,000 house, if I was to buy that, what would my monthly payment be? And $350,000 right now with the current interest rates puts you at about $1,400 a month. The average cost of rent in Las Vegas, $1,700. So if you're going to rent anyways and get zero equity, zero tax write-off, and zero appreciation, why wouldn't you take that same number and buy a house that you could have a lower payment and get all the benefits of homeownership?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, I think the key is, if you're watching this video and thinking like, all right, maybe it's time for me to get off the couch and do something, I'm renting, or the home we have, there's probably people who are like, we're busting at the seams in our current home, but if we sell, are we ever going to find something? I think the key is to get connected with a real estate professional. Our preference would be one of the agents that works with us, because we hire the best, and seeing what your options are. The good news is, when you're going to purchase a property, you don't pay your real estate professional anything. So our agents will go to work for you. They are compensated by the seller of your future home. And so it's free for you to reach out to, go ahead and text 702-336-8500 and just say, hey, I'm thinking of making a purchase. Our guys will go to work for you. They'll show you what's available. They'll show you what your options are. And as far as this, we're going to get into next week and the weeks following different aspects of buy or wait. Next week we're going to talk about interest rates, but there's a lot of factors for you to decide. But the number one thing that I would not do if I was you is bet against this market. We don't completely understand all of the advanced economic theory that is causing this market to be such a seller's market. But before it ever becomes a true buyer's market, like we talked about, the inventory would have to triple or quadruple, and that would take some sort of massive catastrophic event, which you may be watching this after the massive earthquake hits Las Vegas or whatever, and now we have 5 times as many homes on the market. But barring something like that, I can't imagine, from an inventory perspective, that shift happening from seller's market to buyer's market in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, I just can't imagine what would actually cause it to happen.
Good information. That's I think that's a great great point to end on. The last time we had a buyer's market was 2012. Since 2012, inventory has been dropping from that 6-month supply to what it is today at 2.7 months. So it's a great time to buy. Despite what you may have heard, we are still getting offers accepted every day. Our buyers are getting fantastic below market offers accepted. We have great strategies, resources, off-market properties, ways that we can still find great deals even in today's market. So I think the question, should I buy or should I wait, when it comes to inventory, absolutely not a great reason to wait. Thanks for spending a few minutes of your time with us today. We hope you guys have enjoyed watching us talk about the question of should I buy or should I wait. Go ahead and comment below and tell us what you think. What's the market going to do here in the next few months? Also, subscribe to our channel, and if you have any questions, give us a call or text at 702-336-8500. Thank you.